Education, as we all know, is a scepter of development. And for any society to get it right in the cultivation of bright minds, engineers of social, political, and economic prosperity, the impartation of knowledge is expedient from formative years to adulthood. This is often strategically structured and high academic performance delivered through efficient teaching methods, language of instruction playing a vital role. Nigeria's learning environment before now blends mother tongue education with English language until November 2025, when the Ministry of Education, as part of reforms, scrapped the national language policy and adopted English language as the only language of instruction across the nation. It's a new school session. Pupils and students are back to the classroom, and discussions for and against the language reform resurfaces. So Dateline 360 examines both sides of the coin to deduce how this reform will impact learning, particularly for those in the hinterland. There are also concerns over the volume of take-home assignments and subjects taught in basic and secondary schools and their impact on academic excellence. I am Omotola Omojola. It's good to be back here after a short time out. Welcome to the program. Across the globe, nations have adopted languages deemed fit as the official language of learning. By available records, non-English speaking countries, mainly Asians, teach their pupils and students in native languages. And statistics show that this practice has seen high turnout of best brains who have become drivers of global advancement in science and technology, among other sectors. Let's have Zenred Dingmun give us the reasons Nigeria, home to more than 200 indigenous languages, pivots English as the sole language of instruction nationwide.
It was debated for months whether or not it was in the best interest of Nigerian learners. But the eventual decision is not to suppress Nigeria's traditions and culture, but create a fusion of the local and global, making sure Nigerian students have all-inclusive opportunities to relate with their peers globally. And with this, fragments in the system are now unified, and every student from Lagos to Maiduguri and Bayelsa to Kogi are reading from the same page.
We had evidence-based that if you teach students in their mother tongue, especially in the early pre-primary school and the first 3 years, they do better. But then, let's now look at the context of implementation and the result that we're seeing. We'll share ideas, we'll share what we've seen happen, real life, what has happened previously, and where we need to go into the future.
The federal government says the goal is to empower every learner to be versatile, adding that policy only solves half the problem, calling for community action to ensure smooth transition.
The aspect of teacher capacity and training. We have a holistic teacher capacity training package, a digital package for all teachers.
We work across all areas of education in terms of supporting teacher professional development.
As the blueprints are redrawn, the challenge remains to ensure that in the rush to speak the language of the world, Nigerian students do not forget who they are. Zenred Dingmun, reporting for Dateline 360.
Well, we gathered that the impact of this reform is being felt differently across the country. Abdul Jalil Mohammed Bawa in this next piece inquires to know if there are learning gaps as the reform is being implemented in Kebbi State, where indigenous language like Hausa dominates early childhood communication.
The federal government's policy adopting English as the sole language of instruction in schools is designed to unify academic standards and better prepare students for global competitiveness. In Kebbi State, where indigenous languages dominate early childhood communication, the impact is both significant and complex.
A
lot of students in this school may not understand English, but if teachers used to combine both Hausa and English, they will better understand.
I prefer Hausa, it makes me understand more.
In Birnin Kebbi, the state capital, as well as in several rural schools, teachers describe daily classroom challenges. While many older students are adjusting smoothly to English-based instruction, younger pupils, particularly those in primary 1 to 3, often struggle to grasp basic concepts without support in their mother tongue.
According to my experience of teaching, also in this school, maybe they prefer using both languages. After you explain to them with English, then maybe use from 5 minutes to 10 minutes and explain to them. Yeah, it makes them to understand better.
Education experts note that learning in a language a child does not fully understand can lead to poor comprehension, rote memorization, and limited classroom participation. However, they also emphasize that early exposure to English builds confidence and better prepares students for external examinations and future academic success.
SS classes, or the official language which is English, should have been the best language to use in the class. But to the JSS classes, I think their mother tongue would be the best language to use. And why I said to SS classes that English is, after secondary school, these students are moving to the larger society. And in the classes, we have people of different tribes. We have Hausa, we have Yoruba, and other languages. So if we stick to only the mother tongue, I think it will affect some students.
Officials from the Kebbi State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education confirmed that the state has aligned with the national directive, noting that teacher training programs are in place, while learning aids are being developed to support pupils, particularly in rural communities.
Even the other time when a policy was made on the use of mother tongue, Kebbi State was still using English as instructional language.
Parents too have expressed concerns. Many advocate for a bilingual approach, incorporating mother tongue in the early years, then gradually introducing English to ease the learning curve and support better understanding.
While the policy promises long-term academic benefit, its success in Kebbi State remains on how well it is adapted to local realities. Bridging gap between policy and practice remain critical in ensuring no child is left behind in the quest for quality education. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Mohammed Bawa reporting for Deadline 360.
Let's turn to another page in school children's learning experience. The revised curriculum and the number of subjects pupils and students are required to offer. Does this place pressure on learners? Priscilla Grumnan has been engaging educationists and parents in Plateau State on these concerns.
The National Educational Research and Development Council, NERDC, is championing the implementation of the current revised curriculum aimed at addressing issues of curriculum overload, outdated contents, and also emphasizing vocational and entrepreneurial training in the school calendar. In the new curriculum, for instance, primary 1 to 3 pupils offer maximum of 10 subjects, while 4 to 6 pupils offer 13, including optional subjects. We sought to find out the compliance in both public and private schools.
We've embraced it in our school, and we're trying to see how we can meet up by training our teachers, in-house training. But we would like to solicit that government look into the issue of textbooks, because the publishers are not fully equipped to embrace this one.
Primary 1 to 3, they have about 10 subjects, and most of these 10 subjects, it's not that they will work, they will write on. It's just like an oral kind of a thing that the child will not find it difficult to assimilate.
Stakeholders in the education sector say the review in the curriculum is a welcome idea, but pointed out the need for learning to be more practical based and done in line with the psycho-emotional and cognitive abilities of pupils and students.
In view of the multidimensional aspirations that we have, They now determine that, look, you need to build citizenship, you need to build attitudes, values, skills, all right, and cognition. So that is exactly what defines the curriculum, not really that the number of subjects per se. So I don't see a child at the primary school offering 13 subjects. No, I don't think. To him, it will lead to what we may refer to as cognitive of somersault.
There's the need to expose these children to the variety of areas of knowledge, but they should not be overburdened. It should be done in line with their psychological state, emotional, and social state, how much they can learn.
For these educationists, emphasis should also be placed on teacher training and enhanced learning environment to enable smooth, effective assimilation and learning processes. Some parents are of the view that attention should be shifted from the number of subjects to be offered to the specific ability of the learner.
Curriculum for studies in schools should align with the level of cognitive of the child.
In their assessment of the new curriculum, stakeholders are calling for inclusion of critical partners in the education sector for proper and adequate implementation, just as they maintain that training and retraining of teachers is important for desired learning outcomes. For Dateline 360, Priscilla Grumnan.
Attention span of pupils and students are often factored into study duration, and these determine how spent in school. Chika Okori has been inquiring to know how these issues as part of classroom practices affect performance.
Across many public schools in Enugu State, lesson period average 45 minutes, with learners spending about 8 hours daily in school. In several private schools, the school day extends further, sometimes lasting up to 10 hours.
Despite the fact that we are on this mission on the first day of school resumption after the UTAD, these students appear to be very ready to do the academic works.
When do you learn best in the day?
It's in the morning time, and this is because in the morning your brain is cool and you are calm at that point, and you tend to understand better during the morning time. But in the afternoon time, you are already out for break and there's sun.
During the morning hours, because we come to school and our brains are still calm and we have not taken anything much. But during the afternoon section, because of the sun and we have went out for break, everything will not be getting into our brain or skull.
Education practitioners note that while structured routines are important, learning effectiveness is closely tied to attention span and teaching approach.
We use 8 hours in teaching for every day. There seem late more during the morning hours. At least from morning 7:30 when the classes resume till that 11. The assimilation is more that period.
Although attention span varies with age, for younger pupils, concentration reduces significantly after the break, as extending lessons beyond that often affects comprehension. Teachers also observe that students' alertness declines as the day progresses, particularly during the late afternoon lessons, stressing that while teaching continues, retention is limited.
If it comes in the afternoon, after they have played during the break time, and when they come in, see them sweating, and the heat will be disturbing them.
Pupils and students acknowledge the challenges of long school hours, stressing that they learn better during the morning hours. General opinion remains that learning is better when teaching is interactive, as students participate more.
You know they are children and they are growing. You cannot lecture them with lecture method. You teach them with what they see. We use teaching aids. We allow them to say their minds, what they know about the topic, then we start discussing among ourselves.
As teachers and students are working very hard to make teaching and learning more fun and interactive, They want policy formulators to look into the education sector by taking decisive decisions that will make this sector more favorable to all for better development of the country. In Enugu, Chika Okore for Dateline 360.
Now, many will agree that lessons flow better during the morning hours. That nonetheless, teaching methods matter in retaining attention. Now to another basic issue, the culture of assignments and homework, often seen as voluminous. Does the culture reinforce understanding or simply add to the academic burden of students and pupils alike? Mutiat Olushola in Kwara State finds out.
You are submitting the assignment 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Failure to submit by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, I will not correct again.
Homework and assignment as designed by the Nigerian education curriculum are to reinforce learning, develop skills like critical thinking and promote independence. In Kwara State, while some parents believe the classwork and take-home assignments given to their children in the various levels in both private and public schools have positive impacts on their academic performances, some parents want the take-home work to be given in moderation in order to reduce fatigue for both the learners and their parents.
The homework given to the children back home, to me, is not really too much because, our children of nowadays, we need to keep them engaged.
The way the assignments are coming these days, if as a parent, if you are not smart enough, you turn out to be a dullard in front of your children.
This upload to their mother. If you want your children to learn, it is not just to place unnecessary burden on them by tasking them with assignment.
As parents want a reduction in the take-home work for learners see it as fun and a way to improve academically.
It's okay for them to give us assignments when we are going on, because if they don't give us, we are just going to be playing at home.
The assignment given to me from school are mathematics short guide, so I want more because I like it.
Both the homework and classwork have improved my academic performance.
Whenever a person or a parent or a caregiver at home goes out of his way to do it for that child, we have our ways of monitoring.
If the assignment is too much for them, definitely it will affect them. But the ones we give them here, it has been positive.
For English and Maths, there are classwork that they do in every lesson. But for the take-home assignment, it is once in a week.
Professor Shehu Rahim Adaramaja and other stakeholders agree that the currently run education curriculum is voluminous, but efforts had been made to reduce the workload on learners across all levels of basic education and to improve the standard of education in Nigeria.
Before this time, there are a lot of subjects, too many subjects, so that does not give time for learners to do anything within the school hour. Because everything is not streamlined, we now have time within the class hours, within the school hours, for learners to do some of these assignments.
One of our responsibilities is to go to the classrooms and check the student notebook to know whether the teachers are marking given assignment or not.
Some of the assignments given are too much for them in such a way that the parents will have to be too much involved.
Voluminous take-home assignment for learners in private and public schools across all levels of learning is no doubt taking its tolls both on learners and their parents. And as such, it is important that the newly approved education curriculum should be implemented as soon as possible to reduce the workload on both learners and their parents. I am Mutiat Olushola for Dateline 360.
While there are calls for reduction in take-home assignments in Kwara State, Abdullahi Aminu in Bauchi, on the other hand, reports that respondents seem to be at home with homeworks given to pupils and students.
The data for assignments and homework by students and pupils in Bauchi State shows that private schools assign more homework, with secondary school students often spending over 3 hours daily on take-home tasks. The state's public schools' performance, on the other hand, increased to be maintaining a moderate of 2 hours daily.
The assignment being given to students are not overloaded. It is what they've been taught in the class that they are given to test their ability if they understand what have been taught.
The implications of this homework culture are being debated among educators and parents, with teachers saying parents are sometimes not paying the needed attention.
So many of the parents doesn't checkmate the work of their children. Sometimes the teachers will teach and giving assignment and what have you, but when they go home, they don't reverse, and the parent, some of them claiming being busy.
Most teachers are not dedicated to their job. Why? Because the job we are giving to them on a platter of gold. They didn't look for the job. Maybe they were looking for something doing and they didn't get what they wanted. So they now opted into teaching. They will just say, even if it is teaching, just give me, not that they are there because of what they want to impact into the students.
When we talk about education, it is both parties. We have parents, we have teachers. So if both come together, I know that our education will go far.
The emphasis on consistent practice is helping students understanding and boosting their English proficiency.
Students are too lazy, and then the parents are not also setting their eyes on that. If not, no assignment should be said is being overloaded by teachers.
Though some challenges persist, but stakeholders in education here in Bauchi credit both state and federal government's efforts to improving teacher training and resources for driving this progress. In Bauchi, Abdullahi Aminu reporting for Dateline 360.
To build standards in Nigeria's education sector, various reforms have evolved over time to improve learning outcomes. The old system of 6334 focused on role learning with vocational intent, while the new system of 12 years basic education focuses on digital skills and trades. Here, Rafia Animashan Badmos probes the missing link between Nigeria's old education model and the evolving new system, questioning whether reforms have been properly aligned with local learning needs and quality of graduates within both systems.
The federal government of Nigeria announced sweeping changes to basic, senior secondary and technical education curricula, moving away from the outdated 6334 system.
Nigeria is said to have the highest rate of out-of-school children in the world, as statistics put over 10 million children as not attending school. The analysis revealed the chaotic and incoherent nature of the Nigerian educational system.
The new policy, is expecting that for any student or for any child to even learn anything, they must finish secondary school. That is, they must have WAEC, NECO, or GCE. To me, that's an indication that there is fall in our educational system.
All we need to do as a nation is to look at the good things of the past that are useful and relevant for the present. Ours have some values, and those values should be used within our own cultural environment in such a way that it benefits our children, not today alone, but in the future.
Nigeria's 2025 curriculum reforms a significant shift to a 12-year basic education system with a focus on skills, reducing subject load and aligning with global standards.
Whatever policy we have in the Nigerian educational system, I think it is high time that we begin to involve stakeholders. Majorly, those that will be implementing these policies matter most.
With the emphasis in the 2025 reforms on digital formats in education, technology in education, social reforms, and global issues like that, I think it will benefit Nigeria.
Academic scholars say primarily due to the acquisition of essential digital skills, flexibility, and technology-driven job markets, new system learners are better globally positioned than old system graduates.
The child of today to just rely more only on what the internet and what the technology is given to him without actually challenging the brain. So there must be an abridged educational practice in such a way that that child who is going to use the AI is still using his brain or her brain to carry out most of the assignment.
Educationists agree that future reforms in Nigeria's education system should focus on major curriculum overhaul, integrating 21st century skills.
Nigeria education reforms aim for future readiness of new curricula. Educationists and academic scholars say these reforms face huge learning challenges vis-a-vis crumbling infrastructure, shortage of teachers, and widespread malpractices, all hindering skill mastery, equity, and turning demographic potential into development. In Ibadan, Rofia Animation Badmos, NTA News.